Hi class. Right now we're going to go over problems 3.3 problem sets are page 59. So our first set of problems says to solve for x for each of the following, round to the nearest hundredth. So the first thing is x over 10 is equal to 20 over 40. So we have ratios and proportions here. So the first thing that we need to do is solve for the value of x. So we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So then we have x times 40 is equal to 40x, and 10 times 20 is equal to 200. Next step is to divide by 40 on both sides to leave the x by itself. So x is equal to 5. Okay. Next problem number 3. X over 9 is equal to 5 over 10. So the same thing, we're going to cross multiply. So x times 10 is equal to 10x. And 9 times 5 is equal to 45. Divide both sides by 10. X, so we can leave x by itself. So x is equal to 4.5. Number 5, x over 50 and 0.4 over 125. So again, cross multiply. So x times 125 is 125x is equal to 0.4 times 50, 20. Leave x by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 125. This cancel. X is equal to 0.16. Okay. Now, moving on to number 7. We have x over 68 is equal to 72 over 90. So we're going to, again, cross multiply. X times 90 is 90x is equal to 68 times 72 is equal to 4,896. Divide by 90. X is equal to 54.4. Number 9. X over 27 is equal to 49 over 51. So we're going to cross multiply or multiply the means times the extremes. So we get 51x is equal to 27 times 49 is 1,323. Divide by 51. X is equal to 25.911. 411. We're going to go ahead and round off to the hundredths place according to our, and that would be number 4. So looking at the next number next to 4 is 1. So it's less than 5. So we're going to leave the 4 by itself. So our answer becomes 25.94. Okay. And let's go on to the next set of problems. We're going to go ahead and move on to number 16. So set the proportions and solve for x. round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, actually that's supposed to say 72. Okay, number 16 says 72 is what percent of 254? So key things that we need to look at here is we have a word problem and we need to convert that into an equation. So whenever you see the word is here, that means that it's equals. And remember from our previous section, of means multiply, right? So let's put that type of symbol for multiplication. And of course, we want a percent. What percent? So what? We're just going to input our variable x percent, because that's what our answer wants to be. And we're just going to bring down our numbers. 72 is what percent of 254? Now we can solve our problem. Okay? So let me just rewrite it. 72 equals x percent times 254. So the first thing we want to leave x by itself. So the first thing that we want to do is divide, get rid of that multiplication and divide by 254 on both sides. So 72 divided by 254 is equal to 0.28346. And it says run to the nearest hundredth. So looking at the 8 is in my hundredths place. And we're going to go ahead and look at the number next to it, which is a 3. It's less than 5, so we're going to leave that 8 by itself. So 0.28 is equal to x percent. And that basically means, remember, percent means that value over 100. So we're going to go ahead and, let's see. So 0.28 is equal to x over 100. So to leave x by itself, we need to multiply by 100 on both sides. Therefore, our x value, let me change the color, is equal to 0.28 times 100 would give us 28%. Okay, so that's our answer right here. Number 17. So again, we have a word problem. We're going to convert it into an equation. So 90% of what number is 44? So remember that we said, let's convert that, since we want a number, we don't really want a percent. So we're going to go ahead and convert this percent into a decimal. Okay, so 90%, again, we said, get rid of that percent, and we can just move our spaces 2 spaces to the left, right? So we're left with 0.90 of, we said, meant multiplication, right? And we're going to go ahead and do it this way. What number? So we're going to put our variable because that's what we're looking for. And remember that we said is means equals, right? So is equal to 44. So if we want to write our answer again, 0.90 times x, so 90x is equal to 44. We want to leave the x by itself, so divide by 0.90. So X is equal to 48.888. And we said we want our answer rounded to the hundredths place. So that's that second 8. Looking at the variable next to the 8 is greater than 5. So we're going to add that 8 by 1. So our answer is X is equal to 48.89. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to the next section. So change the following using the conversion factor. 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. So number 21 says 1 milligram is equal to how many grams? So using our conversion factor, we can convert that into a fraction. So we can set up our ratios and proportions and therefore solve for our value that we want. Okay, so 1 gram over 1,000 milligrams. And again, I want to write down my units. That way I don't get confused and make an error. So then that's the value that we want, grams. Remember, our numerators have to be the same and our denominators have to be the same. So grams have to be on top, milligrams have to be on the bottom. So 100 milligrams. And this one will be our X value because that's the value that we're looking for. So now that we set up our ratios in proportion, our numerators are the same. Oops. So our numerators are the same and our denominators have the same number of units. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. Oops. Right? So 1 gram times 100. So 1 times 100 is 100. X times 1,000 is 1,000x. Divide by 1,000. Plug that into our calculator. So we have X is equal to 0.1. So that's our, oops, our answer, 0.1. Okay. Now converting grams to milligrams. So we're going to go ahead and use the same value that we have. So 1 gram, let me change the color. 1 gram is equal to 1,000 milligrams. And we're going to set up our proportions. So remember, grams have to be on top and milligrams have to be on our bottom. So in this case, we have our grams value. So 1.5 grams over X milligrams. So now we're looking for milligrams. And we're going to do our cross multiplication. So 1 gram times X, so that'll be 1X is equal to 1.5 times 1,000 is equal to 1,500 milligrams. Okay. So let's move on to our next section. So change the following weights using the conversion factor. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds. So 1 kg is equal to 2.2 pounds. So again, we're going to set up the ratios and proportions. So we're going to go ahead and use our fractions. So then we're going to set up 1 kg over 2.2 pounds is equal to So again, kg has to be the same and pound has to be the same. So numerators are the same, denominators have the same values, or the same units, I mean. So in this case, we want to know kg, so we're going to put an x value there. And we know 6.3 pounds. That's what we have. So we're going to go ahead and do our cross multiplication. So 2.2 times x is equal to 2.2x. 1 times 6.3 is equal to 6.3. Divide by 2.2. X is equal to 2.9 kg. Okay. Now, so we're going to again write what we already know. We know that 1 kg is equal to 2.2 pounds. So set it up as a fraction. And then we're going to set up our next. So kgs have to be on top, pounds have to be on top, because our numerators and denominators have to match. In this case, we know the value of the kilograms, which is 3.6, and we want to know how many pounds there is. So same thing, cross multiply. 1 times x is equal to x. 2.2 times 3.66 is equal to 7.92. And again, I'm just putting that into my calculator. And that will be the value of pounds. So that gives me my answer. Okay. Let's move on. Let's do one more problem and then I'll let you guys go. Okay, so number 43 says socamycin is available as a concentration of 20 milligrams per ml. How many mLs are needed to prepare a food soak that contains 30 milligrams? So first thing that we see is that we have our concentration 20 milligrams per ml. The question is how many mLs? So we're looking for mLs. And we want to prepare 300 milligrams of that. So now we can set up our ratios and proportions. So first of all, I'm going to write down my concentration. So 20 milligrams over mLs is equal to, again, we want the same units on top and the same units at the bottom. So we have 300 milligrams. So we're going to add that up there. And the value that we're looking is for mLs. So we'll put in an X for that. Okay. So again, our units are matching: milligrams, milligrams on the top, mLs, mLs at the bottom. And again, this is, 1 milligram. Okay. So now we can go ahead and do our cross multiplication. So 20 times X and 1 times 300. So 20X is equal to 300. Divide by 20, because we want to leave the X by itself. That's what we're solving for. So 300 divided by 20 is equal to 15 mLs. Again, don't forget in your answers to write down the number of units, mLs. So that has to be part of your answer when you guys are doing your homework assignment, okay? So 15 mLs is your answer. And we'll stop here with showing you guys how to do problems, how to converting, solving for X, setting up our problems. I hope this helped you guys a lot. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to email me. I'm available for you guys. All you have to do is shoot an email. I'm here to help you in anything that you need. If you're confused with something, again, please ask, and we'll be available to help you. We want you to do good in this class. We want you to do good whenever you guys start working. So again, please, please, please. Any questions, send me an email, or there's the Q&A in the discussion section that you can go ahead and put your question there. And either a fellow student will answer or myself. Okay? Thank you, and see you in the next video.